Allegedly.
I want
Allegedly.
I want that to be true.
This podcast is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. Spoiler warning for whatever is in the title of this episode.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the horrorofbabylonpodcast@gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/thehorrorofbabylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that The Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible and all other major podcast apps.
Welcome to episode 3 of the... I'm sorry, back up. Welcome to episode Trinity of the Blade-a-Thon, where we discuss Blade Trinity. I am Ryan. With me, as always, is Daniel. Say hi, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
And Hef's here, too.
Hey, y'all doing? Good to be here.
Is it?
For this?
Yeah.
I love the boys.
Oh, okay.
I love me too.
And speaking of people I love... Abigail Whistler, breaker of chains, daughter of whiskers.
You son of a bitch. He even told us, too.
It's so on the nose.
It is.
It's so on the nose. And...
Logan,
the Full Metal Patron, and Ben, the 4th Patron of Hope, and Mia, the 5th, the Rainmaker.
She makes it rain, yo.
Oh, and thank you to the sponsor of the Blade-a-Thon for Horsemen Comics and Gaming, which you can visit at the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia, the Mall at Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can shop online at shop.horsemancomics.com and say hello to around the 3rd Krampus of Christmas. If you make it in the store, let them know that we sent you. Daniel, this movie sucks.
Yes, it does.
Our history with Blade: Trinity.
So another false memory that I have is that I thought this movie was the second one in the series.
But it's called Trinity.
And me, as a dumb person, saw the 2 T's and thought that's a clever way to make 2.
Because it has 2 T's?
100%.
I need to start taking notes on the stories he tells me.
I mean, it makes about as much sense as calling it Trinity just because it's the 3rd one. So. I had never seen this before, but I also had a false memory about this movie. I thought Elektra was in this movie. And I've seen the poster with Blade in the middle, and then Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel on either. I've seen that poster 1,000 times. And it came out around the same time as Elektra. In my mind, I knew that Jennifer Gardner was Elektra. But I just never, I don't know how, but I thought the girl in this movie was Elektra. And then as I sat down to watch it today, oh, this is the one with Elektra. I looked and that's Jessica Biel. Jessica Biel is an Elektra. Why wouldn't they have Jennifer Gardner be Elektra? Because she's not Elektra.
I feel like from a side profile, if I looked real quick, I could confuse Jennifer Garner with Jessica Biel.
I mean, they're both Caucasian women, but yeah. Daniel, your history with Blade: Trinity.
I was very excited to see it because I liked all the other Blade movies.
Oh, so you got to see this one in theaters?
I believe so.
Okay.
And I walked out and I was like, I don't think that was as good.
But noticeably.
The vampire's a pure myth, superstition. I may be able to bring you proof that the superstition of yesterday can become the scientific reality of today.
This movie released. I didn't find it important to write down the date, but it did release.
It's a movie that exists.
It's like every It's like every college boy. Eventually,
They released.
they release 2004.
Yeah, it's just looking. I was curious if it was a. Nope, it's a Christmas. It released December 8th, 2004. This is still based on that Marvel guy. And finally, David S. Goyer steps out from the screenwriting office and takes the director's chair. After writing the first two and not directing, they finally make him director. And
we get this.
This movie had a budget of $65 million and made $132 million. We should make a Blade movie. Can
I play Blade? No, I can't play Blades. Your best friend.
Yes.
As long as I could be, the garlic infused vampire hunter, where I just do nothing. I just do skank.
No, you're West Virginia's greatest hunter. No, that's Circle.
That was Circle.
You were just a camera guy.
The number one hunter.
So in October 2008, after we already had discussed this, but there were talks of two different projects following this. Blade director Stephen Norrington was developing a prequel trilogy starring Stephen Dorff reprising his role as Deacon Frost, which still just blows my mind that anybody thought that was a good idea. But again, Daniel said he would
I would watch all three of them against my better judgment.
I think Deacon Frost is the worst of the three villains, but they're all pretty bad, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, he's my favorite.
They were also, in 2016, Underworld actress Kate Beckinsale stated that a crossover sequel to Blade trilogy and the Underworld films was in development, but it was canceled by Marvel Studios. They kicked that out of bed. They said, fuck that.
I hope they die.
Well, they haven't. They will, because we all die.
Clearly, the people at Marvel didn't know how to count back then, because what I see was double what the movie made.
They're doing all right.
That's what's funny to me. Like all three of these movies, despite how subpar they are for the most part, they all domestically did well.
I mean, but look at the Alien movies, how bad most of those are, and they all made buku's money. How bad a lot of the Exorcist movies are, and aside from the prequels, they all made a lot of money. Exorcist Believer, not a good movie, but did pretty well, made decent money. How much money you make is not a measurement of quality. It's just a measurement of how many people go to see it.
There's also only 3 of these, as opposed to there's 12 aliens.
There are 8.
Okay. So there's 12 aliens.
Yeah. Please stop making fun of Alien Romulus. Please stop. I don't understand. I think it's a cool title.
And that's that. Another story in the classic, infallible 3-act structure. Good enough for Aristotle, good enough for The Simpsons.
Mr. Sislak, I have a feeling there's going to be one more act to this story.
Well, I'm not hanging around for that. 4 acts.
Structure and themes. Something I don't like, but I try to let it go because it's a comic book. It's a Marvel thing. Marvel does this in other things. In the first movie, we have the shadowy cancel that rules over all the vampires. Well, in the they all die. And then the second movie, but we have the ancient one, the even older, more ancient, more powerful vampire. And then the third one, but now we have the actual progenitor of the vampire race. This vampire power scaling,
that doesn't bother me, but I play World of Darkness, and that is just a legit thing.
I think it's silly, but I try to let it go because it's like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., every time they take down a head of Hydra, there's another guy. No, there's another. It's always one, but there's another guy in Europe who was leading this European Hydra branch, and now he's coming to America, and Phil Coulson has to fight him. And okay, so Dracula's in this one.
Yeah. I guess he was. He was the thing.
He was the thing.
I just didn't care.
I didn't care at all.
I just did not care.
No, it was.
I understood in movie, like you said, with power scaling or like that. I understood making a beefier villain if you're gonna have your apex and climactic point in your trilogy. But my God, at least make him interesting.
They failed to do that with any of the previous villains.
I always like to say I would rather be wrong.
Yeah. But they did it with... They messed up with original characters in the first two movies, and this time they kind of take, like, maybe arguably the most beloved horror icon of all time and just kind of poop him down the drain. But, like, I was beyond caring. Like, if it weren't for the podcast, I wouldn't have finished the first movie, so it's just kind of like, whatever at this point. Do your worst, Blade Trinity. Daniel Dracula.
He wasn't in this movie.
I'm sorry.
There's also that opinion.
I would have loved to have seen a Blade Dracula crossover. I got Blade versus guy calling himself Dracula sometimes.
Dr. Acula.
I typically really, really love the ancient progenitor vampire as like the archetype in vampire stories. Mm-hmm. Like in World of Darkness, you got the antediluvians, which are basically... if you took vampires and gave them Super Saiyan powers. And then above them you have Cain, and so on and
like
so...
Cain and Abel?
Yeah, he's the first vampire in World of Darkness.
Interesting.
On his stats page, it says if you fight him, you fucking lose.
Unless you're Abel.
No, I think Abel lost.
And Cain was the one that lost.
I mean, I guess if God curses you, you lose.
In Christian mythology, he's the one who lost.
Yeah.
I have nothing to add to this topic.
Yeah. But I don't think this is a good example of progenitor ancient first vampire.
My brother and I have had some arguments, but I didn't ever beat him with a rock. That's...
Same. Well, no, he beat me.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a bad Dracula.
Yes.
Anything under structure and themes?
I think instead of IDFK, it should be IDGF.
How about that?
There you go. That's also in line what I was thinking.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Speaking of I don't fucking care, let's move to characters. Wesley Snipes as Blade. Again. But this time, not even Wesley Snipes wants to be here. So instead of making half the audience miserable, he makes the entire audience miserable.
Oh, Snipes knows how to snipe. Knows exactly where to hit us. Like, the other two, I was just like, at least Wesley Snipes has, like, you know, the physical prowess to be able to make, like, at least some of the fight scenes engaging. Mm-hmm. Not this one. He didn't even, like, during his sword fight with Dracula, it was like watching a 5-year-old take his first fencing class.
That's the one time that I can have any sort of commentary on fight choreography is sword fighting. Not because I know anything about sword fighting. I don't. Just because I watch a lot of movies that have sword fighting in them. And the novice me could tell that this was really bad.
It was really bad. I thought it was really funny whenever they killed Whiskers again, and we get Wesley Snipes going, no. His no at that was so fucking funny to me.
They should have kept him dead originally.
Should have, but then we wouldn't have gotten his daughter.
No, because she would have been born before that.
Yeah, she was born before that. Because like
I'm talking from like a writing perspective, as they wouldn't have had them exist on.
She still could have been in the third one, even if he died in the first movie.
Yeah.
Not that
IDFC.
Not that she's the best character.
I think she completely breaks Blade movies for me.
I think Blade breaks Blade movies for me, but let's free for all. For me, the worst character in this one is Hannibal King. Like,
it's because it's not a character. It's just the guy was just basically like, people think Ryan Reynolds is funny. Well, I'll just let him be Ryan Reynolds, and then that's what they did.
He's funny. He's sort of funny when he has good material, but like
they just let him rattle off at the head in this movie.
It's so bad when I'm like thinking, God, I liked him so much more in Wolverine Origins.
I think the only line of his, the only line of his
But
that
it's true.
the only line of his in this movie that I legitimately laughed at was after they unleashed the thing that, like the actual origin bomb thing, whatever it was, and like.
Oh,
that
you mean
one,
when the heroes committed genocide?
Yeah, and then the vampire lady's there on the steps with him dying, and he just gets back up. He's like, "Don't get up, I'm okay." Like that was legitimately funny.
Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah. Jessica Biel gets credit because apparently she broke a very expensive camera while they were filming this movie.
Did she kick it?
No, she shot it.
With an arrow?
Like that scene, there's one quick shot you can see of her like doing this, and it's the arrow's coming in at it. It's because she shot the camera.
That's now my king.
Yeah, yeah. It was like a $5,000 something camera, and she shot it so well that she actually shattered the camera.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm not kidding. That's my king.
I hated all of these characters.
I also hated all of these characters.
I hated their acting, and I hate their existence in the story. I don't mind other vampire hunters existing, but I talked about how the vampires in these movies are fucking jobbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can accept that Blade having super strength and super senses, and you hand him a bunch of vampire killing specific weapons.
Mm-hmm.
There's this... I love fight choreography. There is a scene where a vampire, which we are told have super strength in this universe, comes up and grabs a not whiskers like this, and she goes, and he just lets her go. And I'm like, how? How did you get out of that hold? Do you have super strength? You don't. She doesn't have super strength. She got out of that because the script says she gets out of it.
What she's got is garlic sweat, my guy.
As I've said in all three of these, logic is not this franchise's strong point.
Yeah. But the fight scenes were.
Yeah, the fight scenes, like, I think were all right.
Not in terms of, like, the quote-unquote jobbing. Like, I feel like that's bad the whole way through. Because he just shoots them and they blow up.
Yeah, because he's, shooting them in the heart. If she would have used a gun on them, I would have been like, okay, she had a giant... She's, like, kicking at them with, like, a little silver-toed boot. And she's taking on 4 vampires with super strength and speed at the same time.
They were kids. Maybe they don't get their super strength until later.
I guess.
I think the difference here is you were on board for the first 2 movies and I was never on board, so it...
I think that the fight scene also looks fucking horrendous whenever...
I think the choreography is worse in this movie.
Which, specifically, it's not just a logic issue. If somebody grabs you from behind like this and you just go, and then they fall backwards... It looks like shit.
You're the martial artist, so I'll just take your word for it. I know nothing about that kind of stuff. As far as prior to you saying that, I would have believed that's how it worked.
Usually, if you get grabbed from behind, you're pretty right fucked.
This, I just like.
I would say you're behind fucked.
On his point, like when you're talking about like fight scenes or whatever like that, I think it's just a lot of the like. It's not just that the choreography was just bad, it's that the cinematography did not work in anybody's favor. Everything was just too erratic. It moved too much. Like it's very clearly somebody who's not familiar with how to film a fight scene.
This is from The Bourne. What are those movies called?
The Bourne.
Yeah, this is from the same era as the Bourne movies. So.
Yeah, and those are also like you just shake the camera and then it makes it like,
look guys, we're being creative.
Yeah, if I shake the camera, it looked like he hit him really hard. It's like, no. Yeah. But that takes me out of that stuff like that. It's just, this even the other 2 movies that had their problems, this movie just by far is just noticeably worse.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Ryan Reynolds was annoying.
Yes.
And I don't, like... I thought that the tattoo meant that they were familiars, not vampires.
Becoming a familiars are...
they can upgrade
they upgrade to become vampires.
That's right. Okay.
But it's the hierarchy. You got the familiars, then you got the normal vampires, then you got the ancient vampires, then you got the super ancient vampires.
Apparently, the girl from the first movie developed her cure because Ryan Reynolds' cure to vampirism with... no consequences whatsoever.
Why don't you just turn that into the virus?
Oh, But also, the resolution of this movie is that our plucky group of protagonists commits genocide.
I really don't care about that when they're blood-sucking monsters.
I don't care about anything in any of these movies. But the second movie did establish that they're not all bad.
It's a noticeable thing, and it again, this whole third movie is just so horrendously bad. I can't. Like, I could find good stuff in the first two, and this one I just can't.
I think, not as a character, not her writing, not her dialogue, but just, like, her look. Like, her outfit and her bow, and I just think she has a cool look. But, again, she has a very similar costume to Kate Bishop, and Kate Bishop is, like, top 5 Marvel characters for me. So, if this ends up being the highest of the 3 for me, it's not because it's the best. It's not. It's a bad movie, but again, I think they're all bad. So, but I agree in terms of production, in terms of fight scenes, in terms of choreography, it is the worst.
Her thing bugged me because she's just like, what are you going to do when you hunt vampires? I'm going to put in my earphones.
I hated that. It's like, that is so stupid.
Like, why?
Why, if you're going into hand-to-hand combat, why would you completely deny yourself one of your senses?
For the playlist.
I'm going to listen to bad music and damage my hearing instead of being able to have sensory input when I'm going hand-to-hand with supernatural beings.
Oh, yeah, that's how we know she's a badass.
Not that she kills vampires.
No, she has to listen to the music while she's killing the vampires.
And I realize this was 2004, but they could have at least been wireless so that the things couldn't have grabbed her wire. But
the only reason that you can make the MP3 scene acceptable to me, and that is only if she is specifically listening to Maxwell's Silver Hammer as she's running around smacking.
Maxwell Edison, majoring in medicine.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, you give me that specific. I'm just like, okay, justified.
That or Evanescence.
Yeah.
This is 100% a movie I would have expected there to be like an Evanescence song on the soundtrack.
I expected it in all 3.
And disappointed again.
Yeah.
Where was Wake Me Up?
When did that album even come out?
Oh.
I think Evanescence was like 98, 99. Like the Fallen album, I think was like 98 or 99.
2003. So.
Really?
Yeah. Because I knew it was middle school, like latter middle school. Because I remember 8th grade talent show, like 4 girls.
Oh, they all sang My Immortal. Or whatever it was.
I thought it was Bringing Me to Life. Maybe
No, it was My Immortal. Because it was
the slow one.
The real sad, depressing one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sorry, guys. Are you okay?
I don't know. I love me some Evanescence.
Yeah, but you love a bunch of high school or junior high girls
I had a
singing
crush
them.
on one of them, so yeah, I was totally cool with it.
I had no opinion. I was just like, the 4th one of these.
Dracula.
Drake. Second worst Dracula.
Who's the worst Dracula?
Gary
Oldman. That's who he was going to say. Gary Oldman.
I've traveled through centuries to find you.
I don't know.
At least this Dracula didn't fall in love with a human woman and then give up his whole shtick to be with her.
That's the best part. No, it's not. It's when he was fucking the other girl as a werewolf.
Before this guy, my threshold for bad Draculas was the Dracula from Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie since it released, but I was actually gonna put Van Helsing on the recommended list for, like, if you like Blade, you probably like Van Helsing, but I decided against it. I also haven't seen that movie since like 2003.
I would say
a lot of people seem to like it. I hate it.
It's not aged. Yeah, it's not aged well, I'm sure, but like I have a nostalgia thing for it. It's just one of those movies I watch. Like almost every Halloween, it's on my list of movies I watch for Halloween. It's just a fun movie. It's cheesy, and I'm okay with it.
I don't remember. I saw it, and I remember nothing about it.
You're not really missing anything by revisiting it.
And you're not missing anything by not watching South Park.
Fair enough.
All right.
Except Tolkien references.
Yeah.
Not that I would get most of them anyway.
No, Brian will sit there and explain them to you.
True. There's that.
Commentary on, commentary off. And then the girl, played by Parker Posey. Ryan Reynolds X.
I forget she exists until I rewatch this movie every time.
I do agree with Ryan Reynolds that her hair is absolutely ridiculous. Like, in what world did she think that was going to look good?
He has some gem lines, but there's just way too damn much of him talking.
He just talks way too much.
Yeah, like there's some legit like good lines in there.
Well,
it's just
I think
it's
that
too much.
I think the material is just bad because he talks more in Deadpool, and that's better than this.
Yeah.
They made fun of Green Lantern, but they can't make fun of Blade Trinity in the Deadpool movies.
Green Lantern's so much better than this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I think they've busted Green Lantern's balls at least, twice? They made fun of it in both movies, didn't they?
I don't think it's...
They did in the first Deadpool movie. I don't remember it in Deadpool 2.
But they can't make fun of Blade Trinity. Come on, make fun of Blade Trinity.
But I've only seen the Deadpool movies one time each.
No, I don't remember the second one. I don't hardly remember the second one at all.
It was all right.
I wasn't real into it, no.
He travels back in time and shoots Ryan Reynolds in the face for signing on to Green Lantern.
That's a bit much. I like Green Lantern more than Deadpool 2.
I don't dislike Green Lantern.
I think it's fine.
I mean, it's not a remarkable one, but I mean, amongst other DC stuff I've seen, it's not the thing I hate the most.
No, there's
Now the
much
Flash
worse.
exists.
Yeah.
Much worse DC movies.
Yeah.
After we watched Suicide Squad, Dem was like, we're going to watch Birds of Prey, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah, Birds of Prey is worse.
You can.
Wonder Woman 84.
I don't like Wonder Woman 84, but it's hard to put it in the same category as Birds of Prey.
Yeah, but I still don't like it as much as Green Lantern.
Yeah, I would say Green Lantern's probably better than Wonder Woman 84, except just in that Chris Pine and Gal Gadot's chemistry is just very entertaining to me.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, Green Lantern is a better movie.
I guess they're all better movies than this.
I would probably watch this before I watch Birds of Prey.
Yeah, I don't think you can pay me to watch Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
I'll kill you all! I'll drive you crazy, and I'll kill you all! I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
Alright, is this movie scary?
Yes.
It's horrifying.
I've never seen a scarier force on the eyes so far this year, and it's December.
It is really scary because we've watched a lot of crap for this show. I don't think I've ever seen someone give less of a fuck than Wesley Snipes. And I didn't know it was possible. We have seen fan films where I think people at least gave more of a fuck about what they were doing.
The rest of the cast of Exorcist 2, except for Richard Burton.
Yeah.
That's the closest I can come up with. But yeah, I mean, he didn't want to be, allegedly, he did not want to be there. He did not want to work with David Goyer. He didn't want David Goyer to direct, but he had a contract and he had to do it. The wiki says he spent most of the time smoking marijuana in his trailer.
Based.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not a good movie. But
effects.
They're only better in that they had more technology behind them.
Yep, that's it. The movie itself is just overall so. It's deplorable that I just didn't care about really even the effects because the overall experience to me was just not enjoyable.
Yeah,
like my eyes glazed over. Wearing the sword didn't help.
I'm glad you brought it though.
Yeah, me too.
That's a pinnacle of a night. I love that.
Kiss me, fat boy!
Still no Skronkin.
Oh my god, are you Stephen King? No, I'm Dean Koontz. Oh.
Kings and Koontz, I just think Jessica Biel looks cool as a female archer. I like her costume, I like her bow. She has the knife boot just like Hawkeye has, Like, she's basically just like a Kate Bishop. I didn't particularly like the character herself or how she was written, and everything Daniel said was basically true. Her walking out of the trailer with the bow would have been enough, just seeing that. I thought she looked cool. That's my king. Oh no, my king is when she broke that camera with it.
Okay.
That's my king.
Yeah. It's my king too, honestly. That is
That's
that thing.
really
Because
cool.
like it's really, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
as, just not even as a film thing. That's just like because I went back and looked at the shot or whatever like that. And even the film, like the shot in the film, actually, like it's half a second, but like I went and like slowed it and watched it like, and just watching that arrow come in is actually pretty.
It makes
cool.
me want to like watch more Jessica Biel movies.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna rewatch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake for the first time in 20 years because of that one thing.
Yeah, because she shot at a camera. Which it's cool if you look at it because she's a healthy distance away, and the camera she's shooting into is literally this big.
Yeah, apparently she like really trained for it.
Yeah, she like. Well, I mean. The way she looked, I mean, goddamn. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
She
like,
was built.
She had the look.
Yeah.
And I loved that. And that's basically the only thing I liked in this movie.
You can still buy the Dracula dildos. That is my kink.
That was funny.
That's the closest thing to a Kiss Me Fat Boy we got.
That was cool. Yeah.
And you can still buy them.
I also thought it was funny that
Merry Christmas.
the Dracula plushie said that garlic makes him fart, just like, I wonder if Adam Sandler got that from this movie.
My Koontz is, I don't know, man. Like,
all of it.
There's just so little of it that's redeemable.
My Koontz is that it's not even like funny bad. I can usually get some enjoyment out of some bad shit. I think the most I laughed when watching this movie was that one line where Wesley Snipes finally emotes and goes, "Man, motherfucker, I'll kill you."
That was good.
I laughed.
And I laughed because all of a sudden he's showing emotion. And I'm like, man, this guy must have actually pissed Wesley Snipes off. Like,
apparently he and Ryan Reynolds got in fights, and he repeatedly called Ryan Reynolds a cracker. Allegedly.
I want that to be true.
I guess if we're being consistent, like, I mean, the biggest thing that I had about this movie is, at least with the other two movies, the one redeemable thing I could say about them was their fight sequences were decent, and this one is just not.
Yeah. Like,
I don't even get that.
There's not anything to latch on to.
No. I literally got nothing.
I can excuse so much shit for a vampire movie, and I'm sitting there and I'm just bored.
All right, ranking. Daniel, here's the bottom half of your list. I presumed last time and I was wrong, but I think I'm gonna give you the full bottom. God, we've watched way too many movies for this thing. Wait, that's my list. There's the bottom half of your list.
Right below Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
That's actually where I guessed you would put it. So it's your new number 91, below ALVH and above The Boogeyman.
I wanted to make it my last one, but I forgot that we watched Fly.
There's no excuse for Fly.
And Animals Died in Roar.
Yeah.
Then we have
$2 babies.
$2 babies. And
so in terms of actual theatrical films, it's your dead last.
Yeah.
I mean, Roar is technically a theatrical film, but not really. It's not a real movie.
Yeah, it's not. It's just a dude walking around with a camera for 20 years trying to piece together a narrative.
Yeah, so two not real. This is not anything like a movie. This is not a real movie, and these are fan films. Okay, Heftimus Prime.
It goes below Phantoms. Very bottom.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, your new number 16 above.
Yeah.
People playing at home, Hef only has 17 movies on his list.
He does.
And
literally just above Firestarter.
Yeah, the remake.
The remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I enjoyed... This movie is horrendously bad. I enjoyed it more than the first one because to me the original film has like zero redeeming qualities. But the only advantage that this movie has is that I've been made to sit through all three and I don't care anymore. So I was less critical of this movie just because I was no longer trying to find things to talk about and things to like. When I watched the first one, Blade, I was disappointed because I thought I was going to like these, and I really didn't. So I am ranking this above the first one. To me, it's Blade 2 and Blade Trinity are basically the same. Yes, all the stuff you guys said, the fights are worse, but I don't really care about like martial arts choreography, at least not in this kind of movie. So to me, they're tied, but we don't do ties. I guess just so Daniel doesn't explode, we'll put Blade Trinity 1 below Blade 2. Sorry, Jessica Biel. You're my king.
You're my king. My queen, even.
My queen, even. Okay.
You're king of queens, if you will.
Patton Oswalt was in this movie.
He was.
He was.
Yes, he was.
And the girl from American Pie.
Which one?
The sarcastic one, the one who doesn't have sex with any of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the one that you feel like Stifler secretly wants to have sex with because he argues with her.
100%.
Yeah.
And instead, he spent his entire life chasing after a MILF.
Did it show? Like the last time I remember Patton Oswalt on screen is he's playing basketball with the driver.
Yeah.
Does it show Dracula killed them, and I just
they just find their bodies.
They're just laying there on the floor.
I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, they're dead.
The first two movies I sat and watched at night, phone down, sat and watched. For Blade Trinity, I gave up and I put it on an iPad next to me while I was working. So I may have missed some things visually.
I mean,
you didn't miss anything.
Well, it's quiet. It's literally her tacking around while she's because she's the one that's being hunted by Dracula at that point, and it literally. If you're not paying attention, it's literally just she walks over them. Like, you don't hear any noise or anything.
I also think that helped this movie for me because I was 100% full on attention for Blade and Blade 2. This one I was at like 60% attention, and I think that helped.
You were higher than I was.
Well, that's an estimate. Maybe it was 60 on work and 40 on the movie.
That's good because this movie feels about like it was operating on 30% anyway.
Homework, fan cast for Ryan. I couldn't come up with one.
I got one.
Yeah, Dane Cook.
Just pre-Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt. So back, like, if you watched Parks and Recreation, he's when he's Andy Dwyer. That's just put him in there.
I only saw the first episode of that show.
It's like The Office in the sense where I can't watch the first season of The Office.
I love it.
I can't. I just can't.
I just call Parks and Rec Park Office.
It has kind of the same thing where how the first season, to me, the first season of The Office and the second season of The Office feel very different.
Well, yeah, because they completely retooled the show.
Parks and Rec is kind of the same way. That first season of Parks and Rec is not like it's. Just go to season 2.
I'll never do that.
It's easier than what you would think it would be.
But I don't do that.
All right, I know. I feel you. I never play. I can't play any of the Assassin's Creeds.
Because the first one's the worst.
I never got through the first one.
Yeah, I didn't finish the first one either.
Yeah.
I regret buying the collector's edition of Assassin's Creed 1 and have refused to get back into the series ever since.
I can do that with video games. I can't do that with TV and movie. Because I did stop playing the first one. I skipped all the Ezio ones, and I played Assassin's Creed 3, which was the American Revolution one. And I did really like that. But that was the only one I ever finished. I think... as I tried Black Flag, which is for the pirate one after that, and I think what I came to is I'm just not a particular fan of the games.
I only played 4 because of the pirate ship stuff that I actually thought was kind of cool.
I was too hard for me. Like, I couldn't figure it out.
It's kind of like Blitz. Was it like if you ever played Final Fantasy X, played Blitzball?
I couldn't figure it out. It was too hard.
I could. Yeah, Blitzball was like it's such a harsh learning curve. Once you figure it out, it's actually pretty fun. It's like its own little mini game inside of the game. And
I never figured it out.
I get way too into mini games in bigger games.
I spent like 50 hours on Blitzball alone, so...
Yeah.
I tend to skip them if I can.
I played Gwent in The Witcher. Way too much. Because
they made that into its own game?
Yeah, it's a trading card game in The Witcher that apparently the guy was... He made it in like a week. And if you actually sit down and play it, I'm like, this is actually pretty good. I almost, for my anniversary 1 year, and I have yet, one of my anniversaries, I'm going to make Jackie a box with Gwent cards. Like, I have plans to do that at some point.
Oh, and actually, I gave you the wrong impression. I liked the first episode of Parks and Recreations. Beck did not. That's why we didn't continue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I love the first season of The Office. But I guess
it just feels very different.
It is. It's 100% different because they completely retool the show between season 1 and season 2.
They do. Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds should have been in The Office.
He was.
Oh.
He has a cameo.
I'll watch that episode.
Almost everyone. Jim Carrey has a cameo in The Office.
Idris Elba has a cameo in The Office. I realize I'm attractive to women.
He's a recurring character. He's not a cameo. He's in like 5 or 6 episodes.
I miss Jim Carrey.
I've actually been watching a lot of In Living Color on YouTube when Jim Carrey was a regular cast member. And they did this bit where it was like Seinfeld in the inner city, where Jim Carrey is Jerry Seinfeld, and I forget who it is, but some fat guy is George, and they like go into the inner city, and Jim Carrey's playing Jerry Seinfeld talking to all these gangsters, and he just has no idea, and it ends with the gangsters like beating him up, and Kramer shows up, but they have a black guy playing Kramer. It's so funny.
Is it for the reason I think
No, this show was on in like the late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
Like, or it was Seinfeld was on, so it would have been like early 90s.
Okay.
Before all of that happened.
Okay.
Though I think in the early 90s, pre-Twitter, you could say racist things and still be on a TV show.
Yes. Who else could be on a TV show? Wait, we're not at our patrons yet.
I was going to say, let's wrap up. I got to go home.
Further reading, I put down Bram Stoker's Dracula because it has that same kind of like origin story for Dracula. It's like, any others?
I would recommend Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman because it's better than this.
Probably, yeah.
I would recommend literally anything else.
I would recommend punching a tractor tire over this.
That hurts.
I once dated a girl that asked to suck my blood. I would recommend doing that again over this.
It's good to know that you're disease-free now, though. He shook his head. We're good.
He gets checked like every 6 months or something.
That's good. That's good. I am pro that.
Upcoming on the Horror of Babylon, on January 7th, we're reviewing The Gunslinger by Stephen King. And then on the 14th, we're doing the associated short story, The Little Sisters of Eluria. And that's all, because we don't have a schedule for January, except for those 2 things.
But we're going to become a Noodles podcast.
I'm about ready to be a Noodles podcast after watching these Blade movies. Thank you. Speaking
to our noodles.
To our noodles. Abigail the First, breaker of chains, mother of Luann. Oh, that's not fair. Leanne. No, Abby's way better than Leanne.
Yeah, she's at least a Luann.
And Logan.
No, it tipped over.
Uncle Hank.
Hank, it tipped over. No, is it still here, Luann? If I tipped it over, is it still here?
Shut up and go home before I tell you acting like an idiot and make you cry. No, Uncle Hank, baby. Luann, shut up, you're acting like an idiot.
If that exact sort of scene is not in this Noodles movie, I will be so upset.
I don't think it will be. She's not playing Luann.
But I want her to run away crying.
I mean, it's a romantic comedy, so she probably will run away crying at some point.
Thank God.
And Logan and Ben and Mia and Ron.
Y'all are great.
We
hope you didn't watch this movie.
If the Earth, I'm guarantee Ron has seen this movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it again when I wrap presents with him.
Ronald.
No, you watch Blade 2.
Oh, it's just Blade 2? It's
Yeah,
not, okay.
just Blade 2.
Okay.
That is a level of incompletionism that I don't know how to deal with.
If the planet is going to end and I am in charge of seats on the colony ship leaving Earth, I will make sure that there are 10 seats for these 5 people and their plus ones. It's the highest compliment I can give.
We're going to Mars.
I don't have a bit to top that, so I'll just agree with you.
Yeah. You signed up for the Mars mission without me?
It feels good to take off the blade sword. This thing is tight.
Well, you gotta stop ripping out of them shirts, my guy.
None of my clothes fit me.
Yeah, you go to the gym. That happens.
I've lost 35 pounds.
Interestingly, if you stop going to the gym, that also happens.
I want candy corn.
And Swedish fish.
Yeah, I want...
Just mix them in a bowl, put them in the microwave, and melt them.
that sounds so good.
I am 100% for Christmas going to bring you a fucking trail mix of Swedish fish, circus peanuts, candy corns, and Tootsie Rolls.
Oh, that sounds so
it's
good.
It's 100% happening.
I want that so bad.
You're getting it.
Put carrots in it, too.
I want that. I'll eat around them. It's not like cucumbers. If it was cucumbers, I would just throw everything away.
I like cucumbers. I like pretty much all vegetables, though.
Thanks, peeps. Bye.
Stay scary.
Stay scary.
Thank y'all. Bye.
It's over.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher, and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that the Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and all other major podcast apps. Stay scary.